On the surface, it looked like the perfect company. Machines humming, workers bustling, production numbers soaring high. But behind the curtain of efficiency, a different story was unfolding. A story of tired smiles, hidden exhaustion, and a silent, simmering injustice. Our story begins with the company's CEO, Mr. Ahmed. He wasn't the type to sit in a distant office, content with spreadsheets and reports. He believed in seeing things with his own eyes. So, one day he decided to visit his factory, completely unannounced. No grand welcome, no staged perfection. He wanted to see the truth, the raw, unfiltered reality of how his company operated when no one was watching. As he approached, the sounds of the factory grew louder, but it was a different sound he was listening for. Da-da, the human sound. Inside, the relentless rhythm of machinery was matched by the tireless movements of his employees. They had been working continuously since the early morning, their bodies aching, their stomachs empty. One worker, his face pale with fatigue, leaned over and whispered to his colleague, "Man, I'm starving. We've been going non-stop since dawn. I wish we could just have a few minutes to eat something." His friend, eyes darting nervously, quickly hushed him. "Be quiet, the supervisor will hear you. Remember what happened yesterday when Ali asked for a break?" He nearly lost his job. Their fears were justified. The supervisor, a man named Faisal, patrolled the floor like a hawk. He overheard their hushed exchange and his face twisted with anger. "Get back to work," he bellowed, his voice cutting through the noise. "There's no time to waste. Anyone I see slacking off will have their pay docked." A wave of fear and resignation washed over the workers. They fell silent, their heads bowed, and returned to their tasks, the gnawing hunger and exhaustion their only companions. Just at that moment, a sleek car pulled up outside the factory gates. The door opened, and Mr. Ahmed stepped out. He carried himself not with the arrogance of a boss, but with a quiet, calm demeanor. A gentle smile played on his lips as he walked through the entrance, his presence unnoticed at first. The moment he stepped onto the factory floor, a ripple of awareness spread. Workers straightened their backs, their movements becoming more deliberate, more rehearsed. The supervisor, Faisal, rushed over, his face a mask of nervous enthusiasm. "Sir, what a pleasant surprise. Everything is running perfectly. Everyone is on schedule, working diligently," he said, his voice a little too loud, a little too eager. Mr. Ahmed simply nodded, his smile fading slightly. He didn't respond. Instead, he began to walk slowly through the aisles, his observant eyes taking in everything. He wasn't looking at the machines or the output. He was looking at the people. He saw the flicker of fear in their eyes when the supervisor passed. He saw the subtle slump in their shoulders, the weariness etched onto their faces. He watched for several minutes, a silent observer in his own company. Then he saw it clearly, Faisal shouting at a young worker who had paused to stretch his back. The collective flinch of those nearby, the undeniable atmosphere of pressure and fear. And he realized with a sinking feeling that no one was taking a break. There were no lunch boxes, no thermoses, no designated rest area, just the unending, monotonous grind. A pang of disappointment, sharp and deep, pierced his heart. These weren't cogs in a machine. They were people. Mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters. Human beings who deserved dignity and respect. He understood a fundamental truth that day. You can expect the best from people if you do, and treat them with basic human decency. His expression hardened. He called the supervisor over. "Mr. Faisal," he said, his voice low but firm, cutting through the factory noise. Faisal hurried to his side, a bead of sweat tracing a path down his temple. "Yes, sir?" The CEO looked him directly in the eye. "Do you realize that these employees have been working for hours without a single break?" Faisal stammered, his confidence evaporating. "Sir, I was just trying to maximize production, I thought. I thought we could have them eat later, once the shift was over." Mr. Ahmed cut him off, his voice now steeled with authority. "Production grows when your people are healthy and happy, not when they are exhausted and hungry. You are not managing machines, Mr. Faisal. You are leading human beings. And you have failed to do that." The entire factory fell into a profound silence. Every eye was on the CEO. The only sound was the distant hum of a powered-down conveyor belt. The weight of his words hung in the air. Mr. Ahmed took a deep breath, composing himself. He then addressed everyone on the floor. his voice calm yet powerful, resonating with a sincerity that no one could doubt. From this day forward, he announced, every single employee will have a mandatory 1-hour lunch break. During this hour, all machines will be turned off. No one is to work. You will eat, you will rest, and you will return to your work refreshed. This is not a suggestion, it is an order. For everyone, Faisal, the supervisor, stood with his head bowed, the flush of shame creeping up his neck. The workers looked at each other, a mixture of disbelief and hope dawning on their faces. Could it be true? The very next day at noon, the factory underwent a miraculous transformation. The deafening roar of machinery was replaced by the gentle hum of conversation and laughter. For the first time in a long, long time, the workers sat together, sharing their food, their stories, and their relief. The tension that had permanently creased their brows began to smooth away. They weren't just workers anymore. They were a community. One worker, taking a bite of his lunch, smiled warmly. For the first time, he said to his friends, I feel like they see us as people, not just a number on a payroll. Another nodded in agreement, his eyes shining with gratitude. Mr. Ahmed, he has truly won our hearts today. From a window in the administrative office, Mr. Ahmed watched them. He saw the genuine smiles, the relaxed postures, the newfound camaraderie. A quiet, contented smile touched his own lips. He knew he had made the right decision. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness, the simplest show of respect, can create the biggest change. As the scene of the happy workers fades, Mr. Ahmed's voice is heard, a gentle reflection on his realization. True leadership isn't about giving orders and demanding results. It's about understanding your people, caring for their well-being, and giving them the dignity they deserve. Because kindness is never a weakness. It is the quiet, unshakable strength that can move mountains, and more importantly, change hearts. This story is dedicated to every kind leader out there whose small acts of compassion build a better world for us all. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires.